What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, Monday morning, second to last day of July, and finishing the day up $2,400. Another green day with some wild action today on AWX. We've been talking about this stock for a week. It was last week that it started to move up, and every single day we were thinking continuation, continuation, continuation. It was at $2 a week ago. Today it hit a pre-market high of $36. What a move. We're going to talk about today what caused that move and how I traded it and what my game plan is now moving forward. So I hope you guys enjoy, and if you have any questions, any comments, leave them below. I'll come back through and answer them later today. All right, so enjoy, and I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning for midday market recap around 9:15 live on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing and have the alert turned on. That way when I go live, you get the notification. All right, see you guys tomorrow. What's up, everyone? All right, so time to break down the trades from today, finishing the morning up $2,424.40. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that. Another great day of trading. I made $3,700 on Friday, another $2,500, $2,400 today. Green is good, and I want to finish the last day of the month tomorrow with one more green day. That would be a great way to finish the month of July. It's been a really good month. It's been a very interesting month with a couple of crazy moves on GBR, AWX, and a few others in between. So today, AWX is the one that we were watching the most closely coming out of the gates because pre-market, it hit a high of $36. This is crazy. Yes, Friday, the high was $10. The high Friday was $11.21. It was up 300% pre-market versus Friday's close. Isn't that insane? So how did this happen? How does the stock go from, in a matter of a week, from $2.20 to $36? We'll break it down in a minute. Now, before we do, I want to remind you guys that at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're hosting an online training workshop. I'm really excited about it. I've been prepping for it for the last couple weeks. We hosted one in earlier in July, which was a big hit. It was a lot of fun. We had great attendance, and so we've got another one happening today at 1 p.m. Eastern. So those of you guys who aren't already in our Warrior Pro classes, I want you to click to register and be there at 1 o'clock. So a little under two hours. We're going to jump in. Okay, so that's coming up at 1 o'clock. After we do this recap, I'm going to go for a little bit of a jog, get myself pumped up, and then I'll be back here right around 12:45 to get the broadcast up and running, get situated, and then flip the switch to go live at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, those of you watching this later on the replay and you missed the workshop, I'm sorry that you missed it. We'll host another one soon. All right, so let's see. Excuse me. The link is in the announcements tab for those of you that are in chat, but I'll drop it again right here. Okay, so you can see the P&L today, $2,424. Green is good. Only one stock I traded. Kept it simple. So we'll talk about MYND. This one was on our gap scanner. During the workshop today, we're going to be talking about how to find stocks to trade on any given day. Now, for me as a beginner trader, it was no doubt hard to find stocks to trade. But over the years, it's become so easy that it's like second nature, and I can do it in my sleep. MYND, it was right on the scans right here. It was our second leading gapper with a low float next to AWX. So we knew pre-market, because it was up 18%, and because it had news, there was news out this morning at 7:31 a.m., that this was a stock that was going to be in play. Ended up squeezing from a high of $1.80 all the way up to a high of $2.78, and through that move I made $2,400. I wasn't as aggressive on it as I could have been. My first entry was at $2 as it was squeezing up right here. It did a red to green move and then surged up, jumped in at 2, scalped it up to $2.55, gave back a little profit getting in at $2.50 and stopping out as it came back down, but made back those losses right up here as it came back up to $2.50, and then right here as it squeezed up to $2.70. So total of I think 3 separate trades on that one. All right, but AWX is the one that I really want to talk about. We started this month with kind of a crazy momentum stock, and we are finishing the month with a crazy momentum stock. And who knows what they both have in common? GBR and AWX. Well, they're both similarly priced stocks, right? Okay, fair enough. They're both priced, started at $2 and squeezed up. Both of them were parabolic. Both of them were lower float stocks, and both of them were bought by the company that owns SureTrader. So what I want to do here is show you guys, so we look up AWX, I'll just pull this up right here. So this is you can search all the filings for these big companies. So AWX, I was asking myself, how is this making this huge move? This is crazy. This stock keeps going up and up and up and up. What's going on with it? And so I checked after hours on Friday, and I saw right here, posted after hours, a Form 3 filing. A Form 3 filing means somebody has taken a position of more than 10%. All right, so 10%, that's a pretty big position. All right, so I checked the document and I see MYND Brokerage International has filed a Form 3. I take a look at it and it shows that they bought 1.9 million shares on the open market. 1.9 million shares of AWX, MYND Brokerage International right here. You go to suretrader.com, you'll see at the bottom of SureTrader, their website, owned by MYND Brokerage International, right here. All right, so this is the same company. This is also closely associated with the guys that founded SureTrader, also founded SpeedTrader, which is located in the United States. So if you go to myndbroker.com, you'll see where are you from. If you click the United States, it's going to send you over to SpeedTrader. And you'll see at the bottom, Mint Global Markets. So these companies are all kind of connected. All right, so here you have the Form 3 filing on AWX. And, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, that confirms it. I look at MYND Brokerage, I can click on their name right here. And this shows me all of the other filings that the company has made. And boom, you go down here and you see 629 documents. Okay, what's this? You click, let's see, click right here. And you see this is a Form 3 filing for GBR, New Concept Energy. All right, they bought 1 million shares of GBR. All right, they bought 1 million shares. That was on 629. So we go back to GBR. This was how we started the month of July. We started with this big move on GBR. I made some good money on it. It was a great, fun trade. This was 629. This was the day they bought. All right, the Form 4 is when they sell. So they bought on the 29th, and then they sold. Let's see, this is a Form 4 for the same stock. They sold 100,000 shares on, what is this, July 2nd. And then they sold another 900,000 shares on the 3rd. All right, so we go back to the chart. So this day was the 2nd, and this day was the 3rd. Okay, so what you see is this pattern where the stock made this incredible move, absolutely parabolic, incredible, but it didn't hold the move, and probably part of that is because they were selling 1 million shares. That's a really big position to sell, and this just tanked. Now, we ended up having a couple more trades on it and everything. We made some money. And, they're filing, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. They're taking a big position, and then they're selling it. And that, anyone can do that. If you want to buy 2 million shares, you can buy 2 million shares. You file the paperwork, whatever, and the stock goes up, well, you make money and you sell it. So that's just what's happening. But it's a catalyst. When someone buys 1 million shares or 2 million shares of these very thinly traded stocks, that's a strong catalyst. So it happened on GBR, and then AWX, here the Form 3 came out that they bought it. The date was, whatever it was, Friday after hours, the 27th. And so that, when people saw that Form 4 or Form 3, they were like, oh my God, this is what's going on. They're buying up a big position. and short sellers start to cover. And that's why after hours, when that was posted, it starts to really take off. And I was thinking today, this thing, I mean, I was like, it might go to $50. It might go, just keep going. It hit a high of $36 pre-market, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. But by the time I came into the office, it was already back down at 24. And since then, it's been selling off. So now you see this imbalance to the sell side. So I guess the question is going to be, do we see a Form 4 filing at the close today that they sold it, or are they still holding? You know, and I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But it definitely today is weaker than I thought. I thought today we were going to see fireworks and it was going to do this final big squeeze out of the gates, but it didn't. I knew that this would be a short based on the price action of what happened to GBR. So I knew it would be a short. I just didn't know when. And that's the challenge that every short seller has is, you know, this will go down, most likely when they sell their 2 million shares, but can you hold while it's still squeezing up, right? So someone might have said on Friday, you know, this stock has no news, it's gonna come down, I'm gonna short it $11. And that was before they knew that Mint and SureTrader had bought this big position. So, you know, at that point they were like, yeah, I'm gonna short this, and they were right, because it is coming down. It's back at 11 now. But could they have afforded to hold it when it was at $36 pre-market, right? And most people can't. I mean, it's just not affordable. So, and that's the same thing with like stocks like LFIN. You would have been right to have the bias that this stock is going to come down. Remember in May, or well, no, this was not in May. It was when was this? This was back in November. This thing squeezed up to a high of $142 per share, right? Now, this was a little bit different, you know, and there was a catalyst on this that they were getting into the crypto markets, which was kind of a crazy thing, but those were really hot at the time. So that was maybe a little bit of a stronger catalyst. Anyways, it squeezed up to 140, and then now it's back at $6. So if you shorted it at $60, you were absolutely right. The question is, can you afford to hold it when it goes this far against you? And most can't. And so they end up covering, losing money, and maybe they get short again, but maybe at that point when they want to get short, their broker is taking away shares to borrow. So if I go to AWX, there's no shares available to borrow. It's back now, coming back down here again. It's been kind of all over the place today. Well, mostly down, I guess. But, you know, it's been popping up and then selling off, and it's been halted like 4 or 5 times. So here was my biggest concern. My biggest concern was the risk that this could get halted on a T12. A T12 is a circuit breaker halt, and it's halted pending basically providing more information to the exchanges about what's causing this crazy price action. So LFIN was halted on a T12. It was halted, let's see, where was it? Trying to remember where it was halted. But it was halted on a T12 for a while. And I'm trying to remember where that was. Oh, it was right here. It was halted on April 6th on a T12 right here. And then it ended up resuming way down at $5. So it was halted at $28 and it resumed at $5. It lost 75% of its value during the T12. Think about that. 75% of the value gone. DRYS. You guys, some of you haven't been trading long enough to remember when this one made its big move. But here it is, back in December 2016. Squeezed up, was then halted on a T12, and you can see how this thing came all the way back down. I mean, it was really brutal. Let's see, when was that? I'm trying to remember. But anyways, this one got halted and it dropped, you know, it was down 50%. WNIS wins. All right, this stock, really crazy. It squeezes up from $20 up to $230. Ends up getting halted on a T12, is halted for 6 months. For 6 months, your money's tied up and you can't trade. Finally, it resumes at $46 per share, down 75%. So my concern with AWX was that even though there's a catalyst, which is the Form 3 filing of a investor taking more than 10% of a stake, and that by itself can be a strong catalyst, because if Warren Buffett or Carl Icahn or some of these other guys take big stakes, that can be enough for people to jump in. That might be considered enough of a catalyst that it won't get halted. But what if it does? And if it does, I can't risk losing 75% of my position. Even if I buy just 1,000 shares at 25, if I lose 75% of that, I'm looking at a $20,000 loss, and I can't afford that. I mean, I can afford it, but mentally, I don't want it to happen, and we could all do without a big loss like that. So for me, the downside risk was just too high. Even if this ended up squeezing over 36 and going to 40 and 45 and 50, and maybe even squeezing up to $75 or $100, for me, the risk of it getting halted on a T12 was just too high. And so this is what I do. I say, you know what, this train left the station. Some great opportunities on it last week, but at this point it's off, it's gone. I can't keep trading it. So I'll wait for the next one to take off. The next one that shows strength, I'll jump into that. And today that ended up being MYND. And there's $2,400 for me that was low risk. I felt comfortable in those trades, and I booked my profit. Now, if I had, right now, like I trade with Lightspeed, and Lightspeed isn't doing, they're not trading the stocks that I'm trading. They're not buying AWX. They're not shorting AWX. They're not traders. They're my broker, and I feel comfortable having $125,000 of my hard-earned money sitting in this account, because I know that they're not trading against me. They're not trading the other side of me. And I think that's maybe the thing that some people are a little uncomfortable with, that SureTrader, and Mint Broker, that they're actively trading the stocks that a lot of their clients are trading. And probably a lot of their clients were wanting to short this because it was up so much. So while you're shorting it, your actual broker might be buying it. That feels like, I don't know, it feels like you're trading against each other, and who's going to win. It's the one with the bigger account and the more money. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't make any difference at the end of the day, but it's something that just, for me, I think I would get annoyed about and just feel like it wasn't really fair that they're trading the opposite side as me. And, I don't know to the extent that it is or not, but that's how I would feel about it at the least. If I lost, I would feel that much more frustrated. So, that's a reason that I'm really happy that I'm with Lightspeed now, and I'm not trading at SureTrader anymore or trading at SpeedTrader anymore, because they're both, kind of all affiliated with the same company. And, you guys do what you want. You feel okay with it. You don't mind doing it. That's okay. Is it, I don't know, is it actually your money? Well, you're helping them make money with your commissions and everything else. So is it your money that's being used to trade now the opposite side of you? I don't know. That feels like something that I wouldn't be super happy with. But, you guys, you do whatever you want. And at the end of the day, we're all small traders, small-time traders. We're not trading millions of shares. We're not making millions of dollars. It's a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there. And so, what's happening with your broker probably doesn't make a difference. But I like feeling that Lightspeed is sort of a neutral party. They're not trading the same stocks as me. They're just looking out for my best interest. So, my commissions are $2 per trade, which is very, very low. And, they keep me happy. And so I'm going to keep trading there. If I found out that they were doing stuff like this, I would switch. I would leave Lightspeed and I would go trade with, someone else, E-Trade or whoever it might be, because that's just how I feel about it. So, anyways, I think that's kind of something to be mindful of. I hadn't seen this happen before when I did have my SureTrader account like a year and a half ago. I don't remember ever seeing anything like this. If you look at Mint Brokerage, this is the history of all of their filings. So the first one ever is just this last month. So this is all new, this kind of thing that they're doing. And they're I'm no doubt going to make a ton of money. I mean, 2 million shares at $10, if they sold some of it pre-market, I don't know, that could have been a $20 million winner. So that's a lot of money, and good for them for having the insight to take this trade or whatever. But I still would just kind of have an issue with them trading against me. So I don't know. Small account traders. You guys, there's the CMEG group, CME group. I know a lot of you guys have been trading there and you've been really happy with them, so that's a good one. Trade Zero, they've been pretty good for some of our international traders. They don't accept U.S. customers, but there are other options out there if you guys do have issues with it. But you got to make those decisions for yourself. And the reality is, GBR and AWX, both of these stocks this month have given huge opportunities. They've been really volatile, and opportunities, volatility, that's what we look for as day traders. So I don't want to hate on someone who's creating volatility in the market, but it's just you just got to feel good about where you're trading. So you guys make those decisions for yourselves. For me, we'll see what happens with AWX if it keeps trading up at these prices, or if we see a Form 4 coming out on after hours today or tomorrow that they've sold. If that is the case, then it's probably going to do the same thing GBR did and come back down. And then the question is, which one's next, right? Which is the next one that is going to make a big move, and which is the next one that they might buy 2 million shares of. So when you 2 million shares is a huge position. So if you were looking at a stock like MYND, for instance, and it starts taking off, and you just see these huge bids, big bids, and it's just taking off, someone's accumulating a really big position, and that can certainly help you if you're in early. So I think there's definitely going to be this kind of speculation of which one is going to be the next one. Is it going to be this one, or is it going to be that one? And I think every stock that starts to take off, traders are going to kind of have that question of, is there someone out there, Mint or someone else, buying 1 million shares of it? And I don't know. I mean, we'll find out the next day or whatever when we see the filing. I think they have to file it the same day. I'm not sure. But, it's definitely creating this kind of new dynamic to the market for small caps. And it's creating some sort of much needed summer volatility. So, volatility is what we look for. You can see here, if you Google NASDAQ Trader, you'll see the halts here. The stocks are halted. 1, 2, 3, 4 halts on AWX, 5. Oops, let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 today, 5, 6, 7. 7 circuit breaker halts on AWX today. And it's still only 11:40. So it's still early yet. There will be probably more volatility in this name. But right now it seems like it's selling off, but at the same time, it wouldn't shock me if I came back later this afternoon and saw that it suddenly popped to 20, squeezed out early short sellers, and then drops again. It's going to be volatile. But the reality is, when you look at this from a technical perspective, this is what we call a shooting star candle. It's a shooting star because this is the body and then this is the tail. So, when you see a shooting star in the sky, it's got this like fiery body and the long tail. Well, that's the same thing. That's what this is. It's that this is the body, this is the tail, and whenever you see that, it's an indicator of weakness. It's a weak candlestick pattern. So it would be very hard for this stock to recover and end up squeezing back up. Having said that, on day 2 of GBR, remember, it had this bullish engulfing candle where it was red, and we were like, oh yeah, this thing is weak. And then the next day it starts to pop up, and I'm like, yeah, guys, I don't have much hope for it, because look at how big the red day was yesterday, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And I think that was when they were taking their 1 million share position. So kind of crazy right there, but so who knows? But having said that, though, I don't think they can. I mean, unless they already sold, there's not a lot remaining to add because this stock only has like a 3 million share float. So there's really only so many shares that you can add before there's no more shares available to buy. There's only another million available. So unless they sold a million and are going to buy back the million in the middle of the day, that would create a spike for sure. But otherwise, there's just not a lot left to buy. So I don't know if it's going to keep going up. But time will tell. And, my kind of whole approach is look for volatility. If I can manage risk and I feel comfortable taking the trade, take the trade, make some money. But I always keep in the back of my mind that risk of T12 halts, and I don't want to be in a stock halted on a T12. That could be really, really bad for me, and bad for anyone with a small account. All right, so the Form 4 or the Form 3 filing, it's anytime you accumulate more than 10%, that's the threshold. So, and I mean, I don't really know exactly how it works. I haven't researched it a lot because for me, it's not really relevant for my trading. But if you were swing trading and you were holding stuff overnight and you had a really thinly traded stock, AWX, I guess anything more than 300,000 shares would be more than 10%. So you have to file your Form 3 and 4 forms, or Form 4 forms. So, I don't know. But, I'm not an expert on this. I mean, I focus on the technicals more than anything. The fundamentals, they vary and they are what they are. We can have horrible fundamentals and a stock still goes up. This stock has no actual news beyond the Form 3s to account for this type of move. So you could say, well, the stock has no material reason to move. You look at their earnings, they're not that great. This stock is not worth $10 a share, $15 a share, but meanwhile it squeezes up to 36. So you got to be one or the other, a technical trader or a fundamental trader. I'm a technical trader. I focus on the technicals. That's my job. And, I try to leave the fundamentals to the side. But, the reality is now when I see a filing that says Mint on it, I'm going to remember GBR and AWX, and I'm going to think, okay, we'll see what happens with AWX, but this is the pattern that we're seeing. A big, big move, and then a fade on the backside of the move. So, again, this is SureTrader, the company that owns SureTrader, Mint Brokerage International. The same guys who founded SureTrader, founded SpeedTrader. They found SpeedTrader first in the late 90s. I was a client of SpeedTrader for a really long time, but I decided to leave there last year. Lightspeed gave me a better offer on commissions, so I felt more comfortable moving over there. And I was worried just, the fact that SureTrader gives us this kind of loop around the PDT rule. I was just worried that, the SEC would come in and, I don't know, at some point try to shut down SureTrader or something. They haven't yet. Maybe they won't, but it just kind of made me nervous being tied up in those companies just because I was worried that they would be under scrutiny, being formed by the same person and all these, kind of similarities. So I just felt more comfortable putting my money somewhere else. So I've been with Lightspeed now for a year and a half or so, and I've been happy there. And given what we've seen now, I feel even better that my money is sitting over here. So, that's where I'm at. You guys, you got to make the decision that feels right for you. And it's always a battle because when you got a small account, you don't feel like you got a lot of choices, but you do. There are choices out there. There are other firms, and you vote with your money, so you put your money where you feel comfortable putting it. All right. So, anyways, that's about it for me today. Another solid day in the market, $2,400. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, and I'm hoping that we continue to see some volatility. I don't think it'll be on AWX. I think that one is done, at least as far as I'm concerned for my style of trading. But I'll be looking for the next one to pop up and start to give us some momentum, and I think there'll be a lot of speculation of which one is going to be the next one to make the big move. So watch those scanners and keep your eyes peeled. When you start to see the volume, you start to see the momentum, that's you're going to want to watch that because I think they'll start to take off pretty quickly. All right, so anyways, I'm going to go for a quick jog. I'll be back here in about an hour, and we're going to start our workshop right at 1 p.m. All right, so I'll see you all in just about an hour. Okay, see you soon. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.